This has been requested a lot. Cheap things to do in Halifax, Nova Scotia. My name's Najad and I make videos for international students and students around the world, as well as students in Canada and anybody who wants to, make the best out of their lives. If you hit that red subscribe button, it helps me so much. I appreciate it. I'm super involved with the community. I go over and see who subscribes on a weekly basis, and I respond to every comment. I have something to respond to today, and I'm also making multiple videos to answer so many questions, so it will really help me. But in terms of cheap things to do in Halifax, what are we going to do? I'm going to tell you straight off the bat, nothing in Halifax is insanely expensive per se. I mean, if you go out, you eat a lobster platter dinner and you order 50 things, yeah, it's going to be insanely expensive. But for the most part, nothing in the city is so expensive that it's not accessible. If you can afford to live there, chances are you can afford to do things in the city, no matter your budget. But at the same time, Halifax is one of those cities that becomes more expensive over time because of the added up costs. And I'll explain what I'm talking about. When you're in a city like Toronto or Vancouver, generally there's more space to roam, there's probably more things to do, and there's more competition between businesses. So you can probably find something really cheap depending on where you go. You can go to a flea market and you can get things like really cheap there. You can go to, like in Toronto, one of my favorite places to hit up for food is Chinatown. It's one of the best places to buy. Halifax, there's less competition. You have like 3 main grocery stores. You have I don't even know how many libraries there are, but I can only really think I know there's a couple, but off the top of my head, I can only really think of one that I've ever been to. In terms of bars, I can probably name them I can name them on 2 hands because it's Halifax. But what I'm saying is, everything is pretty much the same. And there's not much diversity in the city in terms of things to do. So what I'm going to recommend you do is find some go-to hobbies or things that you enjoy doing that don't cost money, especially as an international student. Because if you say, hey, you know what, like, there's not much to do in Halifax. Like, let's go get dinner every single day. It will add up. You will spend thousands of dollars a year. And many students resort to this because there isn't too much to do in Halifax. I'm not saying it's a boring city, but I'm saying if you have nothing going for you and you want somebody else or you want the city to take care of occupying you and giving you a fun time, and you don't have thousands of dollars to blow, you're not going to have much fun. See, fun in Halifax is going to come from you and the activities you like doing. Do you like going for walks with friends? Do you like going to the park? Do you like biking? Do you like going to the gym? See, if you find something ritualistic that you like to do, you'll save money over time. But if you're like, hey, what fun thing am I going to do every single day? You're going to spend money because there's basically restaurants, bars, pubs. Maybe you can go to the library once, but no one's going to do that every single day. And that's it. That's really it. Like, you have, fun free things through Dalhousie University. You can go to a lot of free events. But to a certain point, when you just look for something fun and incredibly cheap to do in a small city like Halifax, you're gonna have to end up spending for things. And that's why it's best to establish a ritual. But let's get to the things that are actually cheap that you can do. Library. Halifax Central Library is one of the most beautiful libraries I've ever seen in the world. It is one of the best, and hands down, I don't compliment Halifax in every single way. Like, I'm very unbiased when it comes to the city because I've had some things about the city anger me and some things about the city make me very happy. The library is one of the things that make me very happy. It is great. The architecture is phenomenal, and I don't know a thing about architecture, but I know it looks freaking amazing. There's a wide selection of books. They have guest speakers and conferences there all the time. It is just a really good library. Another great thing to do is to walk the boardwalk when the weather is warm. The boardwalk near the Tim Hortons, Halifax Peninsula, it's beautiful. Walk across the boardwalk and, even grab a coffee at Tim Hortons or something, or, grab a snack like Timbits or something and just walk around with a friend. And that's something that's really fun to do that I recommend. Another thing that's very fun to do in Halifax and is not too expensive is escape rooms. Escape rooms are basically rooms you go in with your friends, they lock you inside and you have to figure out a way to solve puzzles and escape the room within an hour. This is probably going to cost you about 25 to 30 bucks doing it, but I mean it's not something you do every day, and if you really want to shake things up, you can go into an escape room and it's tons of fun and it's great to build stronger relationships with friends, especially that I said in my previous videos, make friends earlier on in the year. Why don't you make a bunch of friends and do an escape room? It'll help you bond. So that's another fun thing to do in Halifax. It's not too expensive. Another good thing to do in Halifax is also, not to eat out every day. Make your food, but make food with friends. Have potlucks, have dinners with friends. And if they're not arranging it, arrange it yourself. Talk about doing a potluck. You're an international student, go to international student events at Dalhousie University or whatever university you're at. All of them have it. So what I recommend you do is once you do that, you'll make more friends. You can have potlucks with different cultures. You can have, you can go out to dinner with them. And shake things up a little bit. If you've been cooking at home a lot, go outside on nights where there are deals. There's like, some pubs have chicken wing deals, like all you can eat chicken wings. Or I know the Pint had that. If you went to their opening, they give you free chicken wings every single Wednesday for the entire year, as long as you bring your card. I forgot my card, I lost it, so I can do that anymore, go figure. But that's a good idea. I mean, but it's free with a drink purchase. So like, don't do it every Wednesday either if you want to save, but like, whenever you really need to get out the house, it's a great thing to do. So those are some things to do. Another great thing to do in October, and it's not necessarily in Halifax, but it's a bonus, is to get a car. Get a car, not buying a car, but rent a car from Rent-A-Car or like any of the other places or dealerships in Halifax. Once you rent a car, drive out to Noggins Farm, and it's probably Noggins Berry Farm, Noggins, I don't know what farm, but it's Noggins Farm, and you can go and pick apples, like tons and tons of apples for like $5 or something, but like basket full of it, and go apple picking with your friends. They have like a haunted house and stuff if that's your thing. You can walk around, do a core maze. But it's a great way to get out of the city if you want to be surrounded by more like Canadian farmland, nature, and you want to like see everybody. And you can go to the farmers market afterwards there, and you can pick up like cheese and take it home. It's just such a good experience. It's one of my favorite memories there. The Halifax Seaport Farmers Market. This can be as cheap or as expensive as you want it, because you can go around the entire Seaport Farmers Market, visit all the vendors, look at all the cool stuff, and if you have a bit of restraint, one thing you can do is, buy some food, just a little bit to eat with you. You don't have to bring anything home. Just go walk around, go for the walk, go for breakfast. Like, pick up some, like, I would go and have a coffee and a Jamaican patty. That would be like, I like that. My mouth is watering now, but yeah, I would do that often. Not often actually. I would do that like 2-3 times a year, and I really enjoyed that. It was a great way. Like, you wake up in the morning on a Sunday and you're like, what am I gonna eat for breakfast? Every day's kind of been the same. Go to the farmers market, talk to people, socialize. So that's another great thing that's cheap. Citadel Hill, I believe, is free. You can go up there. It's that big. It used to be like a fort in wartime, and bad description, I should not be a historian, but anyway, it's great. It's they fire cannons off there at certain points in the day, or fire blanks, which is fun. It's good to watch, good to take some photos, and it's very high up, so you're looking over the city. I think you can see Scotia Square and stuff from up there. And that leads me to Scotia Square. That's the mall. It's a mall, I believe, more like downtown Halifax, near the pubs and stuff. It's a good place to go and get some, even like cheap Indian food. It's good for that. It's they have a food court in there. It's a little bit of a dark mall. If you want a better mall, go to the Halifax Shopping Center. But again, those are some cheap things to do, because again, you control your budget. So those are some ideas. Another one is if you're with Scotiabank and you get a Scene Visa card. It sounds like a sponsorship, but I'm not sponsoring them. I have that card. And it gave me like 20-30 free movies for using my expenses and traveling Europe. And like, by the time you get over all your expenses, you get a lot of movies. So I would go to Scotia Square. Oh yeah, Scotia Square is on Spring Garden actually. It's not. I was thinking of the Scotia Center, I believe. But yeah, the Scotia Square, No, Park Lane Cinema. Okay, I'm getting my places confused. Park Lane Cinema is where you want to go. Scotia Square is downtown. So if you want to go to the cinema, look for Park Lane Cinemas. That is probably your go-to in Halifax. And again, Scotia Square is, like I said, sort of close proximity to Citadel, closer. So definitely give that a shot. I will make a video mapping things out just so you can see it, but if you're missing any of this, go back and just jot down those places. I may even make listicles. Let me know if making blog posts will help you, because I have on my personal website a blog section with one blog about Halifax. It's reaching some people. Let me know if you prefer to read this in a blog or if you prefer lists, and I'll do that as well. But those are some places you should visit in Halifax that are pretty inexpensive and definitely fun to, you know, get around and shake things up a little when you're bored. So I really hope this video helped you, and if you have any other questions, let me know. Again, my name's Nader, and it's a pleasure to help you out.